Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is Creative Weapons of the Medieval Era by the channel SamONella Academy. Another Sam video. Like always, this is going to be awesome. It's about weapons from medieval era. Medieval era was really weird. It was kind of creative in its own way. I remember reading about something called quicklime, in which when people sieged castles, people from inside the castle used to throw this quicklime on the people, so their armor got burnt and basically they were cooked from inside. That was just effed up, man. And there was also lots of gamers would know this caltrops. They throw basically on the ground, so whoever is running towards them, it gets punctured in the legs. You think if somebody throw a caltrop at me, I would see it and avoid it, but that's not how it works in the battle. There is lots of high intense commotion everywhere. We don't know lots of there are lots of people, lots of soldiers around, and people are literally charging at you at full speed. There is very little time to react to things around you. So when somebody throws caltrop at you, immediately you run toward them. Your attention doesn't go there, so you basically run over that and your feet get cut. That's just effed up, man. That just feels like dick dastardly move. That's just stupid. And there was also, I read about something called man catcher, which people used to do that to throw people off the horses. So cavalry in the past time was really deadly thing. So people invented these things to throw people off the horses. Because if you are if you're infantry and you just on the ground with basically swords and things, and you see cavalry coming at you, there is a high chance you're dead. So people came up with these things to counter that. That's just stupid. And obviously from Byzantium times there was Greek fire. They put behind the boats basically a flamethrower to burn the boats of enemies, and it really worked, man. That's ridiculous. And Leonardo da Vinci, obviously, whoever played Assassin's Creed 2 would know this. There was also a TV show. I forgot the TV show's name. Da Vinci's Demons, I think that was the name. I also saw that TV show, and obviously that's true. Then I researched it too, that Da Vinci was really great at that, creative weapons. He created a chariot with sides all around. So it would chariot rider would ride fast into the battle and basically cut everybody in his path. That was just effed up. So yeah, medieval era was really effed up, and it had really creative and gruesome weapons in it. So let's see which creative weapons do Sam introduce here or show us with his unique take. I hope he, saw some really weird weapon, because that's most of his style, and make fun of it. But yeah, it's still going to be awesome to see. And people, remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. If you want me to react to any videos, comment down. And yeah, let's watch this video.
Hey kids, when most people think of the Middle Ages, they think of them as being like humanity's dumb teenage years, where all we did was play harpsichord in our room and burn heretics with our friends. But that's not entirely true. In fact, I would argue that the medieval era saw just as much genius as any other period in time. It's just most of that genius went towards finding new and creative ways to brutally slaughter those you disagree with. Here's a few highlights. First, we'll talk about the war.
Well, obviously, medieval era didn't have atom bombs, so people weren't in check. Anybody becomes a bit more powerful, they try to invade everybody. So it was about survival. You have to have gruesome weapons at your hand to have survival in your hands. Otherwise, you're screwed. Any army is a bit more powerful, like 30% more powerful than you, you're done. That it would take years, but you're basically done. That was the case up until atom bombs were created. I mean, look at Europe before World War II. They were constantly, every few decades, were at each other's throat, over and over again. But after World War II, after US had dropped those 2 bombs at Japan, everybody got in line. And now there is no war, at least at that scale.
wolf. So, as you can imagine, medieval castles were not easy to break into. They were basically like those jungle gym things at Chuck
That
E.
was the whole
Cheese's.
point.
Massive in size, intentionally confusing layout, security everywhere, and by the end of your visit, you'd probably end up with some kind of disease. So in order to help penetrate fortresses, medieval armies would often utilize siege weapons, one of the most popular of which was the trebuchet. Now this device is interesting enough on its own, but it gets better. So around 1300 AD, King Edward I of England was in the process of invading Scotland. However, one fortress, known as Stirling Castle, was giving him a lot of trouble. He laid siege to the building for many months without any real progress. Then one day, he woke up and had a revelation. Hey guys, listen, why are we wasting our time building all these regular-sized trebuchets when we could just build one giant one and call it a day? So that's what he did. This gargantuan war machine was known as the Warwolf and stood at around 6 stories tall. To give a bit of perspective, this is about as tall as King Kong was in his largest film depiction. So basically, picture a giant fucking ape launching boulders like they're baseballs.
Alright, first of all, this is clever. Because people try to rely on complication too much, like want something complicated. But basically, sometimes if something's not working, just increase the scale. I mean, it's literally basic. So he's like, you know what? These are not penetrating because this is big and strong castle. What to do? Let's make a bigger trebuchet, and there you go. Man, just imagine look of people in that castle like, trebuchets are not working. We are invincible. And then after a few days, they come back and there's a giant thing standing there like, oh no, we are done now. That's just effed up, man.
And you've got a pretty good idea of what the Warwolf was capable of. It was so intimidating that when the Scots saw the English constructing the beast outside the castle, they immediately surrendered out of fear. But then Edward was like,
when they were constructing it, so they are like 80% done, 85% done, they are seeing it like, oh hell no, and they just wave white flag.
ha, fuck that, I'm gonna test this bad boy out, and proceeded to take pot shots on the castle anyway. Another devious product of the Middle Ages.
He's like, are you kidding me? I gave you a million chances and you didn't wave the white flag, and now you're saying it, hell no, I put this much money into it.
The flammable substance known as Greek fire. Contrary to popular belief,
go.
Greek fire was not invented by the ancient Greeks. Rick Riordan,
Byzantine.
Lying prick. It was actually invented in the 7th century AD by the Byzantines, who happened to inhabit Greece at the time. Historians still don't know exactly what it was made of, but they do know that it acted a lot like napalm, sticking to ships, sticking to people, even floating and continuing to burn on the surface of the water. The Byzantines also had these siphon-like tubes that they'd put on the front of their boats to pour Greek fire on the enemy, kinda like makeshift flamethrowers.
Yeah.
These were retired pretty quickly though, mostly because when you put the words makeshift and flamethrower next to each other, you're bound to run into some problems eventually. Our next bright idea comes from a woman known as
That is true, isn't it? I was also thinking that, like, yeah, they are like, this is really efficient, but this is not advanced technology 21st century. This is, 7th century? And around that time, we're like, yeah, this is working, and slowly they see it burning. They see it burning, and they're like, oh no, we are screwed. And their own boat is on fire.
Olga of Kiev. So Olga was a princess who ruled the area around the capital of modern-day Ukraine from 945 to 963 AD. And she had quite a track record for being just a total badass. For example, the Drevlians, a tribe of people under Kiev's control, once sent 20 men to Kiev in order to convince Olga to marry their prince, under the pretense that if they did marry, the prince could claim her rule over Kiev. In response, she had all 20 of them buried alive. She then sent a letter to the prince saying she accepted his proposal.
But didn't kill them, just kill them. She buried them alive. Oh my god, that's gruesome. Man, medieval's time were really, fucked up, let's just say. I mean, imagine just that happening somewhere now, like there are people buried alive. You see them, obviously you're not gonna hear them because sand is, but you know they're, squirming in there. Gasping for air, and that, they are, oh my god, this is effed up. If she had killed them and buried them, yeah, I understand that. There is lots of killing going on. But buried them alive? God damn.
But she would need a bunch of his most distinguished governors to escort her on the journey. Once the men showed up, Olga was like, hey guys, long journey, huh? How'd you like to take a bath in this here bathhouse? They were like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. Okay, have fun, you guys.
I knew that.
It's like a sauna in here. It is a sauna, dipshit. You have a point. So long story short, this lady just did not give a heck. My favorite story about her starts with her besieging a Drevlian city that refused to pay tribute to her. The people in the city were already well aware of the type of rampaging that Olga was capable of, so they were already scared shitless. But when she showed up, she was like, alright, you know what guys, I'm gonna play nice. Just bring me 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each household and I'll be on my way. Okay. What are they for exactly? We're just hungry. I mean, we got some food too. We could just give... I'm sorry, did I fucking stutter? Alright, birds it is. Then, once the creatures were in Olga's hands, she had each of her soldiers tie a cloth-bound piece of sulfur to one of the birds' feet, which was then set alight. The birds were then released all at once, and when they flew back into the city, their nests acted like little piles of tinder, resulting in nearly every house in the entire city erupting in flames simultaneously. And while the whole place burned to the ground, Olga just sat and watched. By the way, it's worth...
Yeah, she needed 3D glasses because apparently she's not seeing the world in 3D. That was so effed up, man. Damn! First of all, that requires creativity, doesn't it? She knew that those birds would go to their, in top of the houses, and the house is gonna burn up. How the hell she bet on that? What if birds just flew away somewhere else? That requires lots of creativity, man. That's just effed up, man. I hope the women and children were not in the house, I guess.
Worth mentioning that, after her death, Olga was canonized as a Catholic saint, presumably around the same time as Saint Tiffany, who went around pushing in the soft spots of babies, and Saint Jerry the Goat Fucker, who, as the name implies, fucked a lot of goats. In conclusion, pay your taxes. To my loyal subscribers, I'll see you in 3 months. I'm SamONella, and thank you for watching.
Alright, first of all, did she get sainthood or not? Probably didn't, because the other last 2 saints felt was fake. I know the goat fucker one is fake because he says it in the description that that's not real. So obviously the other one wasn't real either. But did she get sainthood? I hope she doesn't. Didn't, whatever. This was a good video, man. That trebuchet thing was really surprising. Just massive trebuchet. They are like, you know what, screw you, and he launched it anyway. And obviously Greek Fire, I knew about that, like I said it in the start of the video. Yeah, the Greek Fire was successful actually. They did fend off Arab attackers, I guess. So yeah, that was really successful. This was a good video, man. This was a really good video. Alright people, if you like my reaction to food, like and subscribe. Check out my other reaction in the description. There's a link for all of my video that I reacted to. Check out the end cards. There's a playlist for SamONella video I created since I reacted to so much already. So yeah, and I'll see you next time.